Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome to another Gran Turismo Sport video. This one around Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. So this is my first proper race around this track, which was of course very recently added into the game. This is the FIA Manufacturer Series Season 3, round number 4. So we have an 11 lap race around here in Group 3 cars. So of course I've gone for the Porsche. Now there's all manner of weird goings on during the course of this race and qualifying. You can see here at qualifying we go out onto the track and only 3 of us actually emerge. The rest of the pack, weirdly enough, just sat there still in the pit lane. Of course we've had plenty of problems with the game very recently. As we come into the final sector, so this is actually on my flying lap now, so lap number 2. People actually start setting times. You can see on the bottom left of the screen there that people are actually moving. So it looks like there's only 3 of us, but actually everyone is actually still lapping. I just can't see them. And so that was weird thing number 1, coming around the final turn. And let's see, where are we going to slot in? There we go, into 3rd at the time of crossing, but then down to 4th, and then down to 6th. By this point here, as I come into the pit lane to get a fresh set of tyres. I've just got enough time to come round to set another lap as I cross the line here with 6 seconds remaining, which is enough time to go for one more lap. So at this point here, again, still in 6th place, just shy of 8 tenths off of pole position at this moment. My first lap wasn't the best, but we can try to improve, maybe not to get a pole, we'll see, but at least maybe a couple more positions if we can. Flying through turn number 3, very long corner into number 4, and this is where the difficulty begins. You see I'm just slightly up on my previous best, and you see that the traction is really difficult to manage as you're accelerating while turning out of that turn, which makes it really, really difficult to get right. And for me, that's one of the main things I noticed about this circuit. It's really about the traction. It's really difficult to get it down properly because a lot of the exits of corners you're still kind of turning a lot, and therefore it's very easy to slide the car out. That was the one thing that really had to get on top of if you wanted to race well around here. And coming up over the hill, over the crest, I go very wide, and we can see here as we come towards turn 10, I'm going to get a penalty, which really screws up my lap, and I'm already half a second down anyway, so I decide to abandon the lap and settle for that lap I did earlier. And there is the grid, starting in 7th place. Now this is where some real twerky stuff goes on, as, well, let's roll the intro. God knows what the hell is going on there. Some sort of demonic, deranged ritual as Satan tries to claim them for the realm of deadly shadows. I don't know what's going on. And the start was all messed up. The top 2 just flew away. And even though I was meant to start 7th, I'm actually starting 5th. And as we come through turn 1, or the final turn, trying to claim 5th here. So things got really messed up at the beginning. But this is fairly normal at the moment. This is par for the course of Gran Turismo right now. As we come into turn 1, 3 abreast, deep on the brakes. I'm just going to try to go deep to claim the position of 5th. There's lots of contact behind, and we are going to claim the position. And you can see already just how big the gap is ahead, as the start was just completely messed up. The 2 leaders have pulled away. Then you've got the next 2 here, 3rd and 4th, with another bit of a gap, and then there's 4 of us here fighting over 5th place. And well, hopefully all these glitches kind of get patched out very quickly. It's been a while, you know, this has been a problem since the update, and it hasn't seemed to have been fixed as of yet. So this is a common occurrence, not just in FIA but also in the daily races. Hopefully it does get fixed very soon, because it is kind of ruining the racing experience at the moment. but we can still have a race on our hands here. We have 4 people ahead, although the gap is fairly large at the moment. Trying to get that down. We've got 11 laps to do that, and at the same time we've got lots of people immediately behind who are going to be eager to try to take this position off of me. Although I must say I look like I gained slightly 1 or 2 ahead through the turn 10 hairpin, and look through the final sector, people are still shuffling around doing their little dance, and that is most off-putting as we come through these turns. What I will say though is that it doesn't actually, you're not going to make contact with them, so you can go through them. It's just extremely distracting. People doing a little shuffle through the final sector. It's not really an ideal situation, as a racing driver when you're trying to concentrate. So as we come down into turn 1, lap number 2 now, under pressure from the Porsche behind, braking just before the 100 board, and we're through into the turn okay. Going for the hard tyres. So in qualifying, of course, you can go for the softer tyre. You only need to do an out lap and then 1 flying lap. So you only really need 2 laps, or one lap at full speed. Normally your out lap, you're just going around very slowly to preserve the tyre. But then of course in the race, that's very different. We're going to try to only do 1 stop here. The Catalunya pit lane, we'll see just how long it is when we go in for our stop. I have a feeling it's longer than most. It is an F1 circuit, plus it is a long straight here. We're going to progress round to lap number 5 now. This is around about the area people will be going into their pit stops, and yes, they do. The 2 ahead going in. I'm going to try to stay out and keep the fresher tyres for the second stint. Let's see if this can work as we go up into second. So three of the guys ahead going in. The leader, of course, deciding not to, so he's got a fair margin over me, 8.8 seconds at this point here. Unlikely I'm about to recover that. It looks like a fight for maybe 3rd or 4th at best. We'll see how it goes though. So this lap is crucial. It's a very important lap, as there's a very good chance I'll get undercut, but I will have the fresher tyres in the second half of the race. And you see the split time, I'm 8 tenths down. That's how much of a difference it makes. And through here, really, really tricky, really difficult to get on the traction, especially with the warm tyres, as it gets all out of shape coming out of that corner. As we come down towards turn 7, another difficult little corner, this one, very misleading, kind of baits you in. You want to brake really late, but you need to brake quite early for that and take a bit of the Astro, which I've actually missed on this occasion. So this isn't the best lap by any means. We'll see how it develops once I go in for my pit stop at the end of the lap, and then emerge hopefully without too many positions lost. The 2 guys behind, who've been shadowing me for the entirety of the race thus far, still there, in fact closer than they have ever been. So we have I think it's a Lancer and a Porsche. Didn't quite catch a glimpse there. Just 1 car sitting there on the grid now. The others have been told to do their shuffling elsewhere. Actually no, there is 1 more there at the final turn. So just 1 shuffler remains. Okay, oh no, he's gone. We're going to turn into the pit lane here, turn right. In we go for our 1 and only pit stop of the race. Onto the hard tyre once again. Fuel not an issue. They've changed it in this season such that you don't really have to do any fuel saving. In we go. That was a fairly long drive towards the pit lane, towards our pit box. And as we drive away, let's see how this has panned out. Okay, so we're going to get overtaken for 6th. I'm down to 7th. It's going to be a close fight here with 7th. The Dodge Viper, not quite. He's going to tuck in ahead. So I'm down into 8th. That isn't an ideal situation. Perhaps we might have got jumped by someone else, because I was 5th for the majority of the first half of the race, and it's only these 2 ahead who I've really been jumped by, I think. And I think there might be someone a bit further ahead in the group at the front of the pack who hasn't pitted at this point. We'll see how that one plays out though. So now up behind Senna GT in the Dodge Viper. Going to try to find a way past, getting a superior run. On the way down towards turn 7, the space opens up. I put myself up the inside and he kind of just makes a mistake. I kind of forced his hand there. I didn't really expect him to to do that. I was fully expecting him just to turn in and just take the line. But I think he was maybe focusing on me too much and actually made the mistake. We can turn their attention then to catching up with B Racing 1, the Dutchman up ahead. Let's see if we can overhaul him. We have 4 laps remaining beyond this one in which to do it, and of course he's gone in a lap earlier, so I have the fresher tyres for the second half of the race, and hopefully I can just use that to slowly claw back that advantage that he's got at this moment, which is only about a second, not too much. Through the final chicane, up into second gear, nice and early for that second apex, stabilises the car. Through the final turn, should be able to take it flat out if you get dead right. And now 7 tenths behind. I'm not sure if I'm quite in slipstream range. As we look behind now, I'm going to follow him anyway. I think I am now just about in slipstream range. As yes, that gap is coming down towards half a second now. So we've gone from about 1.2 down to now just half a second down. So we've really reeled in that disadvantage very quickly. We can look to try to overhaul this guy as soon as possible, because we do have the firm attention of the Swede O. Abrahamsson just behind. Ideally you want to get through past this guy, and then the Swedish driver presumably will try the same thing, but will get slowed down slightly, as it is a difficult track to overtake around. It's not the easiest place, as he actually makes a mistake there. It's not going to be enough. Perhaps I can do the same into the next turn, maybe not, because I make a glaring error on the exit, getting on the throttle a little bit too early on the AstroTurf, and that's not an ideal place to begin accelerating, as the car kind of loses traction and I'm around, just about recovering the slide. It was close. It was a close run thing. I could have easily have fishtailed violently to a gruesome death, but keeping it under control by the skin of my teeth. So I live to fight another day, but unfortunately lose a position, and now it's going to be Abrahamsson who's going to be fighting through ahead of me, which isn't the ideal situation, as I've said. He's going to be able to get past and then presumably pull away while I'm still trying to overtake. Right on the back of him into the chicane, trying to pressure him into some sort of mistake. It didn't come though. And on to the main straight. Let's see how this slipstream plays out, because the Lancer isn't, I don't think, the best car in a straight line. But we'll see how this one plays out. I'm going to tuck into the slipstream as well, try and get pulled back and into this fight once again. Not the best exit onto this main straight. The Porsche keeps the position into turn 1. Good defending, keeps the position, and we're going to sweep through turn 2 into 3, the very long corner. Look for our braking point, our acceleration point. Can be difficult to get right as you want to swing back over to the left hand side. So you're kind of judging that one. It's a very difficult corner to judge on the exit, as is this one. This is one I was probably misjudging the most often. It's really difficult to get that throttle down with the exact amount of steering lock that you need, or steering angle. Okay, Abrahamsson's all over the back of the Porsche, and I'm not quite there. I need to be putting more pressure onto him. Is he going to look up the inside into 7? No, not quite. I'm a little bit deep, and again I'm going to lose a bit more time here. Perhaps focusing on their battle a little bit too much as we come up the hill into 9. Just going over that tiny little bump there, that's kind of a good little barometer for your line as you exit out onto this middle straight into turn 10. The hairpin on the brakes nicely, and he's actually got the undercut there. Really nice move from the Lancer. I think a bit of a glancing blow on the way through, but he's got the job done. It was a good little cutback that, as the Dutchman had to go narrow to cover him off on the way in. It compromised his line on the way out, and the Swede took full advantage of that. Good move. He will be under pressure though. He needs to get a good run through here, and unfortunately the Dutchman's got a really poor run and kills his own momentum. You see already the gap, just how much that's developed because of that mistake onto the back straight, onto the main straight. I'm going to be up the inside here, and already losing time to my Swedish rival into turn 1, side by side with the Porsche. I've got the inside line. He's just got his nose there. I have to give him the space. Through turn 2, we're still side by side into 3. Goes back into my favour. I've not really driven that very well, as we just made contact again, and eventually I settle into 7. You can see the gap already to the Swede as a result of all that fighting. This is exactly what I was talking about a lap or two ago. fighting's just going to lose you even more time, and already the Swede has a 1.5 second advantage, which I'm going to have to try to reel in. This is lap 10, there's only one more lap to go after this, so there is not much time. I'm running out of time to try to get something done. I'm just scanning onto the map ahead. Someone is spun around as we come around turn 7 and 8. Am I going to be able to get ahead, or is he just going to slot in between us? He's going to slot in just in between the two of us. This gives me an extra problem to deal with in the form of a big boy BMW. In towards the hairpin, he's going to go defensive. Okay, I'm going to go to the right hand side. Can I try to perform a cutback just like Abrahamson did a lap ago? Yes, I can. Good job. Okay, so that threat has been neutralised for the time being. I can again focus my attention firmly on the Swede just ahead. The gap is 1.4. He's been driving for fairly well thus far, and again looking ahead, I just spotted the guy in 4th, so Kingpin has a penalty. I didn't quite gather how big that penalty was, but of course with the new system the penalties will be served on this lap. So the penalty zone is just coming out of turn 9, so you go up the hill, turn right onto the back straight, and then the penalty zone is halfway down that straight. The penalty will be served there. We'll see just how much of a penalty he has. At this point here, just trying to settle into a good lap and maybe potentially have a chance at Abrahamson later this lap. The gap down to 1.2. I have gained slightly, and I do think that was a 5.5 second penalty. 5.5. And I'm just trying to judge whether or not I'll gain that, because I think the gap is less than 5.5 to that driver, but you don't really lose, or maybe you do lose now, maybe 5.5 seconds, because of course before, if you served your penalty before the line, the finish line, you didn't lose 5.5, you maybe lose 3 seconds or 2.5. But now with the new system, having to serve it in the middle of the race, you've got to wait to the end, and actually yes, it is a 5.5 second penalty. He's got that yellow marker under his name, which means it's going to be served here. The marker is there, you see the 2 yellow markers. Am I going to be able to gain? Yes, I am going to slot in to 5th position. I thought I was going to have another 6, and look how close it was into the hairpin. He somehow got some momentum back and almost immediately retook his position. So I'm up to 5th on the last sector of the lap, and kind of recovered the position where I started, although I was meant to start 7th. I kind of started 5th as a result of all the demonic shuffling. Okay, through the final chicane, just trying to keep it easy here. I'm not going to get past Abrahamson at this point. He hasn't got a penalty either. Just trying to keep it sensible and no bottling indeed. Over the line we go to settle into our 5th position. Not too bad a result that. The race could have gone better. I think, I made that mistake which let the Swede through. So I think it should have been a 4th really, without that mistake, without that one mistake. But ultimately, I really enjoyed that race. It was a good race around Catalunya. There are the results. So finishing 14 seconds off of the lead, and again I think 4th would have been the best possible result here. Maybe 3rd if I'd really driven the best I possibly could have done. But it's a difficult circuit to adapt to, and I'm going to try to improve my driving ability around here, Catalunya. But that's it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts as always. I do hope you enjoyed it. I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for the support as always. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Listen.